Hello, friend. Do you feel different sometimes? Sometimes, I feel different too. And when I'm sad, I read my favorite story. Once upon a time, in the distant land of China, lived a man equally loved and hated by all. He was known as
the Black Dragon.
But his friends called him Izzy. Izzy was one of the realm's bravest combatants. But just like any hero, Izzy had a nemesis. He was known as Powhatan,
The Hand of Stone.
a foe with killer instincts, a cold, murdering gaze. Every single thing about him was terrifying. It would be the first time the two combatants would cross paths, but far from the last.
Fight!
The fight was extremely close, the two combatants exchanging blow for blow. Izzy was convinced he had done enough to win the grand prize, but the elder gods had other plans.
Although you lost, a lot of people thought you should have won the decision.
I won the fight. I hit you more than you hit me, but it's all right. So, it wasn't meant to be. Everything happens the way it's supposed to happen. I wasn't supposed to get that belt.
Izzy expected to get back to training, become a better, stronger fighter, but a strange thing happened instead.
I let some bullshit get to me, just online, like
The whispers of a strange creature called
The Internet.
creeped into his head. They formed roots within his mind and started growing.
you should have won that fight, blah, blah, blah. Guess you shouldn't leave it in the judge's hands.
So 1 year later, when Izzy rematched the Hand of Stone, he changed his style.
I just went berserk.
Usually a precise and calculated fighter, Izzy let the whispers take hold of his emotions.
What people expect me to do, what people in the UFC do, I start throwing bombs.
He aggressively attacked the Hand of Stone.
Why are you doing this? Because that's not me. That's not me staying true to myself.
And it was working well for him. Until... his worst nightmare came to life.
I woke up. I was like, oh, okay, let me try and get up. My arms just felt like noodles.
Maybe he wasn't meant to be a champion after all. Maybe he truly was unremarkable.
Nothing spectacular about him, really.
I was just the runt.
He was just like any other kid.
I was never really competitive. I sucked at sports at school.
Rather, he was just a casual boy.
I was bottom 3 in the class. And I sucked at school because I was at memorizing. I wouldn't even be reading absorbing the words on the page. I would just be looking at the lines and just daydreaming about something else.
But the world as he knew it was about to collapse.
I moved to New Zealand in 2001.
What was the reason why your parents decided to take you out of Nigeria and move you to another country?
Initially, better recognized tertiary education. I didn't realize I was black till I moved here because I knew I was black, obviously. I knew my skin color was dark, but I never knew it was a problem. And it was weird for me. It was really weird for me.
You get picked on, you get cast aside in a way, like an outcast, because you're different.
And I was like, why?
I was trying to fit in too much, and I got bullied a lot.
Like when I used to get bullied, I'd be shaking, my knees would be shaking, my body would be shaking, and oh, look at him, he's shaking, oh, he's scared.
Most of this thing, when it happened, he didn't tell us.
I didn't sound like the people here.
I started to try and talk like the Kiwi kids. I tried to use the same slang. I really tried to fit in. Everyone just wants to belong, especially as kids, you just want to be part of a tribe or fit in, but then.
Psychologists call it social rejection, a fear we are programmed to avoid on an evolutionary level. You see, back when we lived in small tribes, being excluded from the group and sent into the wilderness was practically a death sentence.
I ended up being a people pleaser as a kid, because it was a way of surviving.
So the fear of rejection is your brain trying to protect you from the perceived danger of exclusion.
And then you don't realize how that follows you into adult life.
Me trying to fit in just never worked at all.
Because I spent most of my time in the library during lunch times, just because it's safe in the library.
Calvin and Hobbes is a comic I used to read in high school in the library. I read all the comics that they had of Kelvin and Hobbes. And they're in a box, just chilling or like doing something, playing around. And there's like the power of imagination. So I just got on my bicycle because it's power.
And I like cartoons because there's no limit, you know?
Yeah.
Actually, there's no limit.
I draw strength from characters that aren't even real.
Like Avatar, Naruto, Mortal Kombat, Tekken, like
They're real to me. For me, it's all about what's in here and what you feel in here. And I can relate to a lot of those guys more than I can to some of the great leaders of our time.
and the mind does not know what's the difference between reality and fantasy sometimes.
I blurred the lines between reality and fantasy. I am that line.
But no matter how far he escaped, the evil of the realm always managed to find him.
Remember in school, this kid was just giving me shit the whole time, the whole week. And during the weekend, he rode by my house.
He took time out of his day on a Saturday.
And she yelled, "Go back to your country, Blackanese." And did it like 2 or 3 times.
Go back to your country, Blackanese.
Go back to your country, Blackanese.
And then drive by again and say, oh, you black this, you blah, blah, blah. And I was joking.
And I remember thinking at that age, like,
Did I do something to this kid?
did I say something to him? The next week at school, and he just came up to me and like, what a black boy, and just pushed me. And I might have been having a bad day. And I remember I just lost it and I snapped.
And I remember just wailing on him. Just threw him to his K block, beat his ass, threw his B block, beat his ass. And I was crying the whole time, just beating him up.
And I just ran away and went to go hide for like 30 minutes or so till the teacher found me.
Yeah, he never did that again after that. Yeah.
Well, I had to, turn around and fight at some point.
And on his quest to learn how to defend himself,
I watched this movie, Ong Bak.
Ong Bak was different.
And I was like, yo, this is cool. I don't know what this is. And then I found out it was Muay Thai.
he would also turn to Grandmaster Jackie Chan.
Jackie Chan was my Bruce Lee. The way everyone looked at Bruce Lee, that's how I look at Jackie Chan, because Jackie Chan was the guy who made me enjoy fight movies like The Drunken Master, Rush Hour, all those movies, because he made fighting seem cool and fun and funny, and he played with it. He was playful.
Izzy starts renting UFC videotapes,
And I picked this up just to learn how to defend myself.
and one mighty combatant from Brazil shatters his perception of reality.
UFC 90, I watched the Silva fight Patrick Cote.
And I remember watching him just like, what is he doing? Like, he's just having fun. I think it's just he was ahead of everybody else.
Watching Anderson Silva dismantle people from back in the day, I was just like, man, skinny black guys f***ing everyone up. I'm skinny, I'm black. I can f*** people up.
Anderson Silva was also bullied, not because of what he looked like, but because of his voice.
I have a lot of problems about my voice. The people don't respect my voice because it's quiet, it's no.
And he called himself the Spider because he was obsessed with the myth of Spider-Man.
First of all, I love Marvel. I love it, Spider-Man.
He was someone I looked up to as a kid.
When I talked to my dad about this, my dad say, "This is your voice. This is you."
I just knew, I was like, you know what? If I really wanted to do this, I'd be the best at this. And I didn't know if it was true. Didn't care if people believed me or not. I just said it because it made me feel great. And it's all about how you see yourself. Quote from Ali, "I'm the greatest." I said it before I knew I was.
It took me a while to realize that I wasn't meant to fit in. Like guys like us, we're not meant to fit in. We're meant to stand out.
Every man is responsible for his own destiny.
Did your mum and dad know what you were up to?
Not really, no.
I came into the room one morning to say, I'm out of here. I'm going to Auckland to pursue my fighting career. I said, what?
I told them like, I think a week beforehand, before I moved, so that way they didn't have time to talk me out of it.
Your first son tells you he's going to be fighting, and you are a chartered accountant or a registered nurse. They're going to say, what's wrong with you?
My mom and dad didn't believe in what I was going to do because no one from my country had done it yet.
And we tried our best to talk him out of it, but he was adamant that that was what he wanted to do.
My wife started crying.
She woke me up crying before she went to work, and I was like, Mom, chill. She said some words to me that made me realize I can't let them down. As their firstborn, I can't let them down, so.
We made up our mind at that point that, look, win or lose, we have to support this boy. It looks like this is what he wants to do.
Found a Muay Thai gym, then 6 weeks later, I had my first fight. And then once I was in the ring and I got that rush, I was hooked. That was it.
I think since then, I've just been chasing that dragon.
And the Chinese brought me over as a journeyman.
Big, tall, black guy. You're in the rural areas of China. You'll get stared at all the time.
So they gave me a name, for sure, Hei Long. That means the Black Dragon.
Hello, I am the Black Dragon.
And I just felt like Jackie Chan whenever I fought.
One thing, I went 40-0 before I had my first loss.
But then losing the next fight
by KO.
And do you think you learned something in that fight about not giving into your emotions? And
I shouldn't have given into people's opinions of myself. I should have stayed true to me.
You built up a lot of hype outside. You built up some hype kickboxing. You built up some hype in MMA, but you built up a lot of internet hype.
Yeah.
There was a lot of highlight videos made of you, and people like, oh, look at this guy.
Yeah, I took my time, fought around the world, fought different body types, different styles. And then eventually, I think the UFC were like, okay, what do you want? Come on, let's go.
My first UFC fight, UFC 221, Perth, Australia. I go in there, up. I wasn't in the main event, but I stole the show. Guarantee I stole the show.
After the fight, it's always, like I said, I get pulled in so many different directions. And
at the after party, I'm getting pulled left, right, and center. After the fight, I'm pulled left, right, and center for interviews.
And finally away from all the noise, and it's just like, whew.
And then got depressed. And I'm just like, what the fuck?
What was the feeling? What was bothering you?
Why am I sad? There's no reason to be sad. I just made 6 figures.
There's no need to be sad. I killed that shit.
I'm the man. I'm like, then why am I depressed?
You almost feel like you don't
belong.
Yeah, like I don't belong. I don't deserve this.
I think everybody has that.
This is something that I can't have happen constantly because it's not healthy.
And this is when I started to go to therapy properly and kind of trying to figure myself out.
And what he discovers changes him forever.
Everyone on this planet, everyone in this room has childhood traumas that they haven't addressed, and you don't realize that because you just bury it. You just deep down in your subconscious is just dug deep. The last stylebender, I coined that name from the TV series, The Avatar. His destiny, he had to realize he was the Avatar by mastering all the elements. So I was able to raise my feeling of anger and direct it at the right times. And you can do that with sadness, with happiness, same thing with the feeling of fear, honing that fear and using it because it's powerful energies.
So you have to find a way to sit down and just access that with yourself. Through therapy is one of the best ways.
Those tools that I got from my therapist really helped me just kind of navigate.
So once I learned how powerful that was, I'm always on top of it.
He was about to face his greatest challenge yet. A spider emerged from the darkness.
The people thought, oh, this is your clone and blah, 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 but it's not.
Oh, he's like Silva 2.0, this and that. And I was like, just give it time. Those comparisons will fade away.
To prepare himself to face Izzy, the spider asks for the help of the Hand of Stone.
And I tried to absolve everything Alex gave me.
Anderson Silva. I'm going to Israel Adesanya, Anderson Silva. Understand that.
There's a split second in there that I was just like, holy shit, I'm fighting Anderson Silva.
That fight was just a beautiful chess match. He still looked good. He still looked like, man, I'm hanging with the future of this division.
He's never had someone do to him what he's done to people. I've fanboyed over the guy his whole career, and I've studied him. I knew what he was going to do before he do it.
And then the moment after the fight, how he just pretty much just said, yo, this is yours now.
And it's with the blessing of the spider that the last style bender takes the UFC by storm.
When you entered the 5th round against Kelvin, you said, I'm ready to die.
And I meant that, man. I swear to God on my life, I meant that. I'm even getting goosebumps. Can you see that?
I'm getting goosebumps.
There is a new king. Test your might. Finish him. Excellent. Well done. Superb. Pay your respects.
Hey Connor, I think it's time to tell them. Tell them what? To subscribe to the channel. That's true. And what else? What else? I guess you must have forgotten. On Patreon, you can support my films as my patron. You will join my team on Patreon. You will receive some things, the credits, the edits, the playlist. But wait, you have thousands of subscribers. Aren't you rich already? The UFC demonetized my content. Dana White doesn't like my accent. So you see, I could've quit, but I didn't. Thanks to my patrons for saving my content.
Flawless victory.
Hello guys, now it's official. UFC, thank you. I'm so happy to be part of the family.
Make your way up. I'll f him up.
After winning every tournament overseas, the Hand of Stone makes the jump to the UFC. And just as he starts to hunt down the last bender, the internet yet again turns on Izzy.
Israel's so boring. All he does is run away.
You're fighting correctly.
Yeah.
In terms of like, if you're trying to teach someone how to hit and not get hit, you're fighting correctly.
Is this personal for you?
Yeah.
It is.
Because this is about me and my legacy. This is about rewriting history. Even though it is history, me rewriting a new path of history and just showing people what I can really do.
The Hand of Stone crushes everyone who dares stand in his way. And the moment comes when the last style bender must yet again face the ghost of his past. Wait, there's a page missing from my book. I guess we'll have to finish another time. Because I'm convinced that this is not how the story ends.